everybody, it's me, Alex the Hunted, and I am joined by Austin because we were the only suckers who actually went and saw Fantastic Four.
And let me tell you, that was a waste of money.
Yeah. Well, currently it's a waste of money for Fox as well.
Oh yeah, about 6 million or
Not,
more.
do you mean 60 million?
60. Okay, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
That's even worse.
Yes, we all saw Fantastic Four, and it's terrible.
It sucked.
It's terrible.
Oh, it absolutely sucked.
I'm honestly going to say it's probably worse than than the first. Well, not the first. Sorry, the the
Previous.
the previous Fantastic Four movies, based on the simple fact that it's completely without any. It's joyless.
It.
Like Fantastic, the original, not the original, the previous Fantastic Fours are bad, but they kind of had that cheese and enjoyableness to them, where you can kind of laugh at them.
It was watchable at least, and the actors weren't even bad. I mean, especially Chris Evans, who's gone on to better things as we know, but just this had nothing to stand out.
And say what you want about the last guy who played the Thing. He actually he felt like the Thing, and he actually was in prosthetics the whole time.
And did stuff.
Yeah. Oh, this movie was just nothing happened.
It just horrible storytelling.
Yes.
Just it most stories and most stories and movies and even plays for that matter mostly even have like 3 acts in them to where they set up. There's a middle ground and then a finale. This one, it jumped from one to the end.
The first act was an hour long,
Where absolutely nothing happened.
Yeah.
It was a setup, and then they skipped to the end.
Mm-hmm.
They skipped.
No, I'd say like the middle act. I'd say the middle act was about 10 minutes long, and then the ending, and then
I wouldn't even consider that a middle act. It's like it just not it. There was no point of putting it into the film because it was so easily resolved. Maybe we should do like a play-by-play thing for anyone who hasn't seen this instead of jumping around because do we have so much to say.
So basically, the movie starts with young Reed Richards, who, I'm sorry, but this is not the kid's fault, but kids don't talk like that. When he's at school giving like this presentation about how he's going to be the first kid to travel between
And he
dimensions.
speaks in the most monotone script reading. I was hired on the first week.
And you could tell he was reading off a cue card.
Oh yeah, he kept looking down or to the side.
No, he just kept on looking straight ahead the whole time. It was like, I'm going to be the first. I'm going to be the first person to ever travel in between dimensions, and it's going to be awesome and all amazing. And it gets the attention of a young Ben Grimm.
For some reason.
Yes, for some reason. And also, actually, before we get to the whole Ben Grimm thing, can we just say that teacher was a dick?
Oh yeah, I've never seen a teacher even act like that. For what, a show and tell project?
Yeah, it's like,
Who does that?
it's like, kids, it's like, stop talking about fantasies, talk about a real job. It's like, I'm sorry. It's like, it's clearly like one of those teachers who's just lost his passion for the work.
Oh, it's not even that. It's like he doesn't like any of those kids. I'm pretty sure whoever went before him probably said he wanted to be a fireman. It's like, oh, what, did you decide that when you were 3 years old? Like, you don't do that. You don't tell a kid, don't do that. Unless they're doing something bad.
It's like, unless they're being like saying, unless it's something really questionable, you don't go to the kids like, oh, that'll never happen. You'll never reach that.
Yeah, I don't think you can really say that in a superhero movie, which I'm using the term lightly for this case. But on to the next scene when we get to the junkyard.
Oh God. So, shall we just get to the whole point of that junkyard scene? Well,
Wait, whole point.
not the
You
whole
mean
point of
that-
the junkyard scene was so Reed can try and steal some kind of capacitor or something like that.
Yeah, we went to the junkyard and then found out they were and then they became friends and then they went back to his house.
But the whole thing that everyone takes away from that scene is the origin of it clubbering time.
That was awful. His
so-
abusive older brother says that when he's about to kick his butt.
Like this whole Like, it's clobbering time is usually like what Ben Grimm, like, it's Ben Grimm's battle cry. It's where he charges into battle. It's supposed to be like this whole, I'm going to kick your ass and it's going to be amazing sort of thing.
It's a well-known catchphrase, even among non-comic book fans. They all know what that's from. You just can't throw away a line like that.
And then
And even with his older brother, who quite frankly is not an abusive older brother. In fact, he was one of Ben Grimm's role models in the comic books. I mean, he was a leader of a gang, but he certainly wasn't a bad guy. And in this movie, he's just like, "Oh, you're my kid brother. I'm gonna beat you up because you looked at me funny." It's clobbering time.
You said something. It's clobbering time.
That what did he do to enrage him again? I forget.
I think
What?
he muttered something. He like said, "Oh
Oh.
yeah," he's like, because he was with his gang, and he just muttered something. He's like, "What did you say?"
Okay. So yeah, then they go back to Reed's house, and Reed
Oh.
has assembled a supercomputer.
By the
made
way, actually, just reminded me of that. By the way,
Okay.
didn't the movie say that it took place? What was it, 2007?
Yeah, and they had.
At no point did I think this was 2000.
I didn't care about the year.
No. So get to the point. It's like it didn't feel like 2007. I mean, the classroom looked like it was in the 1990s, and then when we get to like Reed Richards' like garage where he's building this thing, this basically this dimensional teleporter.
Yeah. And guess what? And guess what is a part of the machine?
Nintendo 64s.
Controller. Who has an? Okay, I can
No,
understand.
actually, no. Remember,
having a Nintendo
he's using
64
like
controller.
he's using the CPUs of Nintendo 64s as like things for his dimensional thing.
Does that have like a powerful enough processor to
that's the
power
thing, is,
a
like,
transporter?
that's the thing. Is like people were this was 2007. The Nintendo Wii was out. The Xbox 360 was out. The PlayStation 3 was out.
I can understand people having a 64 for like nostalgia's sake, but like an 8-year-old having that I don't get that.
Like, and it was a whole stack of them as well. Like, I can see why you say you're using it for the processors, but it's 2007 when there's already better. I honestly think that editing choice of saying it was in 2007 was a mistake.
Or they just slapped it on for like modern reasons.
Yeah.
It's like whoever was trying to figure out like, oh, what is this room filled up for kids that takes place in the past? Oh, I have a 64 controller. Let's just like tie that to a supercomputer or whatever. It'll make sense. Nobody's going to pay attention.
But basically, he makes the machine and it works. And then we cut to what? Was it 10 years later?
Yeah, no, it was 7 years later. Here's your first problem with the movie, and something it's a rule in basic storytelling that everyone should know. Tell the story. You don't skip over 7 years of development just to get where you want. They build a teleporter, and then 7 years later, they're at the science fair with the same thing. It's like no progression. We see nothing about how the two like grew up together as best friends, or even how they progress in the project. No, we skip 7 years of development to get where we are now.
To a science fair. And anyway, Reed Richards again shows off this teleportation device to his teachers.
The same
groundbreaking.
The same one.
Yeah, this groundbreaking, this scientific marvel. Like, this opened gateways, like you're saying, kind of saying in the trailer that wasn't in the movie, that this opened gateways to questions we don't even know yet. And what's the teacher's reaction when he basically does it in front of him? We don't want your magic show, you're disqualified.
Can I also say that when 17 years later, 7 years later, when these guys are like, I don't know, 18, 19, however old they are in college, they're at a science fair where the majority of people look like they're just getting into middle school. What are they doing there?
Yeah.
With the same teachers. And anyway, then they meet Dr. Storm and his daughter, which we didn't even notice when she walked up because she was invisible, and that's not a play on words. Her acting was invisible.
Yeah, like she just walks into the scene, he's like, wait, is that? Oh, right, that's. Oh, right.
Jeez, you scared me. So yeah, he gets impressed. This scientist is the only one in the room impressed by his teleportation miracle, for that matter.
Yeah.
And so he hires him to go all the way down to the Baxter Building to work for him on a much bigger version.
of that. Which also, kind of, by the way, can I point out? But no, also, but after that, Ben Grimm just basically just walks off the movie for half an hour.
Yeah, but we'll get back to that later. We'll just say, yeah, Ben disappears for a majority of the time.
Yeah,
It served a purpose.
which kind of makes no sense because I thought they were supposed to be good friends. Wouldn't
Ben
Reed go like, "Hey, do you want to give like my friend who's basically been with me the whole time like some kind of scholarship or something?"
Nope.
No.
Bye.
Bye. Get lost.
We'll call you when we need to turn you into a rock.
Yeah, but also like going into that they go into the Baxter building, and by the way, that building had no security.
The building itself just looked like a bank. It looked like
Yeah.
it just looked like a normal building you'd see in the city of just a bank. Like nothing special about it.
Yeah, but no, it was like, but also what I was saying, like this building had no security. Like these are people, they're building basically the next level of transport. Like I would imagine when people were building the like the spaceship that went to the moon, they had like the tightest security in the world. But no, this one has like one guy at the desk, and then people just go, "Oh, he's with me."
Mall security guard.
Yeah. Like they don't have ID cards or anything, do they? Like to get in through doors or anything like that.
Yeah. He just gave his name. They let him walk right in. So then we meet. So then we finally see the big CGI machine, which is
Actually,
really
was that CGI? I mean, I thought the actual
you couldn't
set
tell it
was
was CGI. It looked totally fake.
really. I thought like the actual. Sorry, what do you mean? The building or the actual like?
No, like the actual sign where they actually built the teleportation room. It didn't look all
No,
that.
that teleporter was real.
It didn't look real. It just even if it did, it just looked like a bunch
No,
of
it didn't look no.
styrofoam 2x4s.
No, it's saying it did look real. No, it's not that it didn't look real. It looked cheap, is what it
Yeah.
was.
That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, but yeah, they start building this teleporter, and it's like, oh, we need. But then we get to like this scene where like what's the name? The father, Sue Storm's father.
Frank Storm.
Frank Storm's like on the table of the committee table, and like, oh, who is this Victor Von Doom who we've clearly just in reshoots changed his name from the because it was originally going to be Victor Domashev or something like that.
Yeah, that was it. And then the only thing that was changed from fan backlash was his name.
Yeah.
But no, we got to meet the blogger, shut-in, long-haired, I hate everybody, Victor Von Doom.
Which he was clearly like that was clearly like, ooh, what does a nerd like today look like? Oh, I know, like they're like in a they just watch TV, or like they have multiple PC screens and they're doing hacking while playing video games, and they close all the blinds so light can't get in, and they look very scruffy, and they have like a dirty beard.
Now, he's also supposed to be the villain, so let's make the whole room dark and keep him in the shadows. So that way the audience can easily tell he's going to be the bad guy. But we'll get to his role in the movie.
Victor Von Doom.
Okay, yeah. So we meet him, and then he gets brought into the project because. Mm-hmm. Literally the same reason they brought on everybody else was just because.
Mm-hmm. And he starts sort of awkwardly flirting with Sue Storm,
which we've gotten so tired of that. We didn't like it when they did it in the first two movies, and it's not any better now.
No, it's even worse in this one because like he comes off as kind of like a sort of a stalkerish in sort of moments. Yeah. Like there's these scenes while they're building this teleporter, which, by the way, the next like 30 minutes of the movie is just them building the teleporter, and it's literally just that. But yeah, he confronts like Reed Richards saying, what is he? He confronts Reed Richards saying, "You're being unprofessional," which is basically.
But that's after we get to meet our next character, who plays an essential role in the movie. Johnny Storm.
Johnny Storm. He builds things, and it's like, but And also, like, he gets introduced. He kind of, to be honest, he kind of gets the best introduction in the movie.
For the most part, but it serves no
Because
purpose.
they start him kind of being like Johnny Storm, with him being like a recluse and, immature and all that sort of thing. But then, like, everyone.
Although I will say that will say that the Mario flower on his rearview mirror was actually kind of clever.
Yeah, but yeah, saying that was, we're saying like they kind of start off giving him a bit of character, but like everyone else, he just gets his character completely sucked out of him.
Yeah, he drives a car, crashes it, and then gets suckered into the fact that his father got mad that he crashed the car, so he has to go work for him to pay it off.
Yeah.
So he doesn't want. So
And
the whole
also-
point of his being there is that he doesn't want to be there.
And also, his father like convinces all the others, saying, "Oh, he should be here. Like he's one of the best builders there is. Like he can't really build a car because the car exploded when he was driving it.
Well, there was also one line in the film where he said he built it himself, and that's what you're
Not
supposed
very
to get.
well because it exploded.
Yeah. And it was a crappy piece of car anyway.
Yeah, it was
Just-
some Honda. But anyway,
Yeah, we didn't actually get to see anything from him building except he welded one thing to another in the film. That was one scene when he was helping everybody else build a machine. He welded.
oh, and by the
That's
way,
it.
the whole time this movie's going, like, the whole time they're building the teleporter, they're going like, "Oh, we're going to be the first people to travel between dimensions. Like us, the scientists, the people who build it, are going to be the first people to do that." And of course, like after what, 40 minutes, 45 minutes of building, they finally, because really nothing much happens for the next 45 minutes apart from building the teleporter.
Yeah, they build it, then they built it, then some random business guy comes in and tells them, "No, we're sending astronauts instead."
And then they get all mopey and say, "Oh, but we were promised to go." But honestly, to be honest,
Oh,
on
no,
that
they get
guy's
drunk
point,
and get mopey.
on that guy, to be fair with that business guy, who was the same guy in the committee saying who's his Victor Von Doom, by the way.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, he was the
basically,
best. Oh, don't do that.
I actually agree with him because engineers are built like the people like because they make the point of saying, "Oh, nobody remembers who built the space shuttle that went to the moon," which one is false. And also like but here's the thing: like those people were trained to build the thing. The astronauts are trained to go across dimensions. Like at no point when the people were building the space shuttle were they going like, "Oh, we're going to go to the moon. We're going to be the people who go to the moon because we built it. That means we get to go to the moon."
So that's what you get when you have kids building machines. And I'm not saying that because of their age. I'm saying that because of their maturity. They're kids. They honestly were doing this for their own selfish reasons. Especially Johnny, who, for the most part, shouldn't have wanted to go into another dimension. He didn't want to be there. So why would
He
he
wanted
care
his
if he
car.
got to travel in the thing? Why would he care?
Yeah.
He's only there to get his car back.
He's like, "I built it. Now give me the money to get my car back."
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what I should have done.
He should have wanted to let. He should have wanted to leave.
Uh-huh. But no, they get drunk. Which okay, that was kind of a little bit. That got a little bit of a chuckle out of me where Reed Richards was going like, "I don't drink; it kills brain cells," and then they instantly cut to him being drunk. That got a bit of a chuckle out of me.
A little bit. I can see how that could have been funny, but it didn't make me laugh, to be honest. But that was just me. Anyway, yeah, they get drunk.
Yeah. Then they goes like, "Hey, you know what we should do?" Basically, what they say is like, I think this is Victor Von Doom convinces them to go like, "Oh, we should basically take this teleporter out for a joyride."
A highly scientific piece of equipment that is going to revolutionize the world. Let's take it for a spin.
Yeah. Oh God! I forgot. Before that, they do a tester with a monkey, which is the worst CGI monkey I have ever seen.
They had that on loan from the Planet of the Apes movies, and it was about $1,000 cheaper.
No, do you mean a million? Like the fact even though the Planet of the Apes monkeys were CGI, like they were really well CGI. They were incredibly detailed.
For the most part, well, this one looked like a 2007 CGI monkey. Just not even believable. I mean,
And also, like they put it in the thing, and it's like strapped in there, and then they say, "Oh, it's okay." If that was a real monkey, that monkey would be going berserk in that machine.
the monkey was incredibly calm the entire trip. It was kind of like somebody gave him like a banana, and he was like, yum.
Ah,
But yeah, horrible CGI monkey. I feel like Pixar probably would have made that look more realistic.
Anyone would have made. I could have made it more realistic.
Okay, yeah. Could have just drawn on a sketch paper and voila, there's a monkey.
But yeah, I mean, they make so basically go. Let's basically take this out for a joyride. So Reed decides to phone Ben Grimm
Because he's drunk for no reason.
and say like, "Oh, I couldn't have done it with you. So come with me." Can I just point out, none of you are telling Sue, who actually built the teleporter.
Yeah, notice how we haven't mentioned Sue at all during this entire time from when she first showed up to now.
Like, she's there, she's building up, she helped build the thing. No one thought, hey, should we ask Sue to come along?
No, we don't tell the sister. No, we don't tell Sue because she might tell Frank. Is that your reasoning? Really?
I don't
You
think
have
they give
to
her
see
reasoning,
it.
do they? They just got drunk.
I just there was really no motivation for anything in this film. She did nothing, but just wait until we tell her about her part in the rest of the movie after they go to Planet Zero,
Yes.
the most generic sci-fi name you could think of.
But yeah, they go into the thing and they're saying, oh, we're going to plant the flag and do all this sort of stuff. And again, actually, by the way, by the time that Ben Grimm comes along, they give no indication of time of how long it took him to get there.
No, he just popped in.
Yeah, he just literally walked in. It's like, oh, and again, Reed goes to the security guy. He's like, oh, he's with me.
That's not how it works
Yeah. It's like,
at all.
yeah, and Reed Richards. So basically, Reed Richards, and also Ben Grimm has a suit which fits him for some reason, even though he wasn't there.
It's for one of those well-trained astronauts that were exactly 5'3" Ben Grimm's size.
Yeah, that makes it like he wasn't in any part of making the suit. So
Yeah, this is how they shoehorn him into the film. They just bring him along.
yeah, and then they go, and then he goes like, so they basically do the teleport thing, which it was a decent effect. It was decent. And then they get there, and then they decide, like have a look around. It's like then they decide, I know, there's this like pool of green energy. So Doctor Doom decides, being a scientist, and this is literally on the Promethean level of stupid, I'm going to put my hand in it.
This is Oh, don't forget the incredible line. This is going on Instagram.
Oh God, how much do you think that? Do you think that was product placement?
Even if it was, that was just a bad line.
Yeah.
I don't care if it was product placement. If they just did it to be funny, it wasn't. No one's gonna laugh at Instagram. I mean,
And also, I really would have thought, like, where did he store the phone? Did that thing really have a pocket for a phone?
Wait, he couldn't. Wait, he's in another dimension. How are you gonna get signal in another dimension to go on Instagram? How is your phone on?
And doesn't Instagram need the internet to work? I don't know. I don't have Instagram.
It needs the internet. It needs connection. It needs data. And there's probably not even any sort of signal at all in another dimension.
Yeah. So
Unless
yeah,
zone power, whatever bullshit.
they basically climb down to this big pool of green energy, and Victor Von Doom sticks his hand in it, and instantly shit goes wrong.
And by that we mean the ground starts farting.
Literally, like they basically have an earthquake, and then they try to escape, and Victor Von Doom gets like the energy stuff, like sort of like lava poured on top of him, and he falls, and they're like, Victor Von Doom, no.
But not before he repeats the line over and over. Reed, pull me up. Reed, pull me up. Reed,
pulling me up. But also, isn't it Ben Grimm who's doing the pulling?
I think they were all trying to pull whatever.
Yeah.
But he still said it. Doesn't matter.
And they get into the teleporter and like, what was it? Ben Grimm, which this was okay, I guess, but Ben Grimm, like his hatch breaks and rocks start. I don't really know where from, but start just being thrown at him. So
Off screen.
yeah,
Pretty much just thrown by the cast at him, and then he screams, "Rocks!"
yeah, and then Johnny Storm, like his window breaks and fire again no,
Catch-
not really known
catches
from.
on
Like
fire.
gets into the tube and Reed, have no idea.
Yeah,
Um,
Reed just gets it
Oh,
afterwards.
while that's going on, the one alert on the PC where Sue Storm's watching saying like, which Sue Storm just conveniently happened to be by it, saying they're using this shit, and they're using this teleporter, which I would have thought like if they're using the teleporter, all the computers would be going, the teleporter's being used, there'd be like alarms blaring and everything.
Yeah, and isn't it also funny how she told no one? There were literally 5 people next to her, and she was like, "Oh, I gotta turn this thing off quietly. I better not tell my dad or any of the other scientists who are here who could help me. No, I'm gonna do it by myself and possibly die."
Yeah, and like she somehow gets in communication with them.
She does.
Like, and basically, she goes, basically, like she helps send them back and gets blasted by like this energy current.
Yeah, that's how she gets her powers. She was conveniently there, and then she gets invisible powers.
Yeah, like I can they kind of explain how Ben and Johnny got their powers because when they got teleported back with rocks and fire. Reed makes no sense. Like, how is he stretchy?
Well, he had steel stuck on his foot, and then he crawled, and then he could stretch. That was it.
No, like when everyone else got their powers
effect.
from the teleporter.
Reed
Like when
just-
like say like the rocks were in the teleporter when we were in the same, like it's sort of like the Fly sort of thing, you know.
Yeah, they all got like mixed up with whatever was giving them their powers.
But-
Reed just did.
And also Sue gets hit by the energy beam, which kind of like turns off all the power in New York. I think is it New York that they're in?
I don't even remember.
It's some city, but it's
It
like
most
sort of thing,
likely
like
was.
every,
So, yeah.
like basically.
Also,
this
don't
huge-
forget to Also, we forgot to mention this at the beginning. How the first time they turned on the teleporter in that one garage, how it cut off the entire city's power.
Mm-hmm.
Did we forget that?
Oh, and the second time that they do it, that doesn't happen.
No, it just turns off that one building. Oh wait, no, it did.
No,
It
when they do it in the science fair, it doesn't turn off the whole place.
No, it shattered the basketball courts, and then when they did it in the Baxter building, then it cut off half the city's power.
Yeah, but by the way, like that whole shockwave happens, and only Sue gets powers from that. And you would have thought all the other people in that building, did they not get affected, or just because she was in the same room?
Convenience. It only works if your director is incompetent.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Oh, so yeah, now they have their powers, and
But they
they're
do and to be fair, that shot of like seeing Johnny Storm's body on fire like a corpse was kind of horrifying.
maybe if you didn't know it was a rag doll.
But you know what I mean? It's like just looking at that, you're like when he's just like when they're in the debris of the whole like teleporter, and like you just see his body like on fire. It's kind of like that's kind of creepy.
But also kind of hilarious.
Yeah, but then like they cut to is it like a week later or something like that? Or
I think they cut to like a week later when the whole place is shut down. It's full of government officials, and Frank is asking, "Where are my children?"
they're all asleep
They're all-
in some.
They're all at tables.
He's basically our cut price Morgan Freeman for this movie.
But even more monotone.
Uh-huh. But basically, like, so they cut to this like military facility, isn't it? Some kind of military facility, which
Area 57, because
Something like that.
51 was too hard.
something like that, and like
Yeah.
you know, they see like Reed Richards decides to be kind of like is selfish, to be honest.
Yeah, out of nowhere. Well, right after we get the horrible effect of his arms being stretched.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was CGI or if it was plastic, but it was so horribly fake.
Yeah, like they get that where his whole body's like stretched and he escapes, like he makes his escape, and then
Well,
like he's
not
going
after we get to hear Ben Grimm constantly repeat, "Reed, Reed."
rude. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Ben, like, but saying like Reed's making his escape, so he crawls through the vent, which conveniently seems to be in the set, which goes through where Ben Grimm is, and
At the same
also here's the thing. Actually, I want to point out, like, they do this sort of like they kind of like cut to Ben, is like he's kind of forming out of the rock, and he's like saying, "Reed, help me," and
time, you can
then
clearly see him.
Reed decides to fuck off. Basically, he's like, "I'll come back for you."
for you. And he leaves.
Yeah, I'll come back for you. No, I won't. But then after that, they go to the military, the big bad evil military dude goes to Reed and goes like, if you work for us, we'll find a cure for you, sort of thing. But what I want to point out about it is
they
like,
didn't go to Reed, they went to Ben because like.
Austin, you got a bit quiet there, by the way. There we go.
Okay, I was saying no. They went to Ben, who is for some reason now in the shadows, even though we clearly saw him.
Yeah. We clearly saw him, and then they cut him. He's in the shadows to do this like reveal shot, even though we already saw him.
So, cut to 1 year later. We're not kidding. Instead of showing him actually working for the government, what happens to the team when they first get their powers, how they cope with it, no. We cut to 1 year later.
Their reactions to finding out about their powers and all that sort of stuff, all gone.
No, all their development that would actually make for a good movie, let's just skip over that. Never mind that. We could definitely, write out some good scenes, but no, we can't think that far.
So 1 year later, where basically Ben, which by the way, the thing shouldn't have a kill count.
That's not the problem that bothers me. It's the fact that Ben pretty much just signed up with the They all signed up with the military for no reason.
Yeah. Well, Sue has Johnny's thinking about it, and Sue's like still practicing her powers, even though she doesn't want to be a hero or something like that.
Yeah, a mere 1 year later.
Yeah, and they do like this whole basically a promotional video saying, "Look how amazing these people are. These fantastic people, if you would."
Yes, a promotional video that would make the Rocketeer shake its head, saying that's just cheesy.
And it's like, we should teleport more people and basically traumatize the fuck out of them so we can give them superpowers and make an army of superheroes.
Because it worked this one time, because a bunch of kids stole it.
And it went wrong. Like, what are they thinking? Like, if we teleport them back with a gun, we'll become like Gunman.
Back to Planet Zero.
No, wait, it's like so basically and then they're searching for Reed Richard, aren't they? That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
We get this horrible effect where Reed Richards is driving this car after he's like bartered for this item thing to build. I don't know what he's doing. He's building something.
Yeah, we never. Apparently, it's like the springs for his suit to help him keep together or whatever. We never really find out what he's working on. Although I will say I like the fact that they kind of incorporated his ability to like face change.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that face change a bit. Like the way the effect that they use for him to change back to his normal face is horrible.
Yeah, it's like the same effect they use for Master of Disguise, but they just shake their face and it falls off.
No, it's more like it's more like the case of like they got like the Photoshop smudge and just like unsmudged him.
Yeah, that's the same effect that Master of Disguise used. They just blur their face and it's back to normal. Mm-hmm. I like that they tried for that, but it served no other purpose than just
that's the only time he uses it.
Which the whole thing of re-hiding serves no purpose.
Which, by the way, I've just realised something. If he can change his face and he's on the run, couldn't he have like changed his face to a point where he could have gone back into the military facility and rescued his friends?
Well, no. You have to remember, he's selfish for some reason, so he's hiding for some reason.
Like everyone else hates Reed Richards now because he ran off.
But isn't it funny how we're talking about patterns with Sue in one scene, and then she finds him because he uses the same thing that he said one time to a random girl that he was working with.
No, it was Sue at the same time.
Like, yeah. Sue's the one that found it because of that one thing he said based on Captain Ahab.
No, it was Odyssey. It was the Odyssey. It was the
Odyssey?
2000. No, was it 2000 Leagues Above the Sea or something like that?
Whatever it was, he still used it. It was like he was asking Sue to find him based on one conversation they had.
Yeah, but also speaking about that thing, is like how can we show that Sue's like a bit of a loner or like a bit invisible or a bit of a nerd? It's like she doesn't hear music; she just hears patterns.
That's stupid. That That was just stupid.
So yeah,
That
and
that
also
had
like
nothing to do with their
also she
superpowers.
says like I need music for me to work with. Which by the way, I was honestly thinking it was going to be like a huge like product placement for some kind of headphones. It looked like it was
Spot
going to head that way,
or just like promote Spotify or
or Beats
Pandora
headphones,
or
or something like that,
iTunes, something stupid like that.
yeah, or Tidal because everyone's using that.
Yeah. Whew.
But yeah,
Okay. So yeah, Reed's captured. So
after
him
like
running away
a
served no
really
purpose.
really short action scene where Reed runs and like he's using his powers to fight these military people, and then Johnny's and then Ben comes down and headbutts him. That's the end of the fight.
Yeah. Why'd you run away? I just did. That's not an excuse. Bam, and he just falls over.
Yeah,
So yeah, him running away served no purpose because he just immediately goes back and then helps them rebuild the teleporter
it's like we
and
need
gets
to-
angry because they changed it.
Yeah, it's like oh they made it ugly. I'm sorry, what part? Oh god, that line made me groan because it's like they made it look ugly. It's like I'm sorry, what part of the teleporter that you built looked beautiful?
Yeah, okay, if you were trying to do something like the doctor when he said, "Oh, you redecorated, I don't like it." No, that he when he does it, it's clever. When you do it, you just sound like whiny.
Yeah. Like, and by the way, this whole thing started because they got drunk.
They have superpowers. Let that be a lesson to you kids. Don't drink and teleport to other dimensions because you'll get your friend's superpowers and then become selfish for some reason.
But yeah, that whole and then they have like this. Then basically that whole everyone forgives Reed scene. Like, did they forget that scene? Because everyone just seems to be fine with him again.
Oh yeah, they forgot that scene just as much as they forgot Victor.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that because
Because we go back, they go back, they send random people into the negative zone.
actually
Planet
probably
Zero.
no, probably astronauts that were trained to do this.
Yeah,
be
they
fair.
send them back, and then they find Victor, and then we're like, "Oh crap, we forgot about Victor." Just
Oh
like
my
the rest
god,
of
he's there. He's like he's alive and has a cape for some reason. Where did he get that cape?
Uh, the Planet Zero store.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Which and by the way, we'll get.
I'm
to
just
that.
I'm just amazed that the movie forgot about its own villain.
Yeah, like, and also like he like collapses and he goes like, "I knew you'd come back" or something like that, doesn't he?
Yeah. He collapses, they bring him back, and then
Yeah.
he gets mad that they brought him back and tries to go back.
Yeah, he's like no, because the military guy comes in and they have it's like oh you're using it for the for like I told you. He basically becomes he's even more selfish. He's more of a prick, basically. And so he decides to basically blow up people's heads. Which, by the way, for a PG-13 movie, that scene of him blowing up his head I was like, how did they get that past the PG-13?
Well, they didn't really show it. They just sort of smudged tomato sauce inside of the suit after a horrible acting.
Yeah.
Because all he did was stand in place and go. And that was only the second worst death of the film. The next one comes 5 minutes later.
Oh,
when
yeah,
they
let's
kill-
get to that. No, wait, let's go to that. So basically,
Yeah.
everyone's like, all the other like heroes. Which, by the way, I think by the time like Doctor Doom starts killing people, is the first time when they have superpowers that they're all on screen together.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Like the Fantastic
Nope.
Four are all on screen together. I think an hour and 10 minutes into the movie.
It's not like we could have written that in the year when they first got their powers.
Yeah, and so basically, like Franklin goes to Doctor Doom as he's like basically killing everyone and saying stop. He does this big whole like everyone knows where it's going. It's like you don't have to do this. That's what everyone says. What do they say? You don't have to do this, and he kills him. It's basically that scene. It's that scene from No Country for Old Men, only much worse.
Yeah. That was the worst death of the movie, particularly because Frank crossed his eyes when he exploded for some reason.
No, he didn't explode. His face his skin sort of.
He got
burned.
toasted.
Yeah.
He literally just got toasted. He could have melted his brain like the other guy, but nope, he toasted him. Now he's dead.
And then gives that song, and then Sue and Johnny walk in. Actually, by the way, Sue basically just throws a fireball at Sue because he thought he was Doctor Doom. Which, by the way, thinking about that, like, what if that was just a random person or some kind of fleeing scientist or like staff member? He would have just killed them.
I thought you were Doctor Doom. Ah!
Like, did he always do that? It's like, oh, there's someone coming around the corner. Flame on!
Well, we'll never know because they won't tell us about their development. They just skipped ahead. Literally everything you could have told us about these characters, and you skip it. We hardly spend any time with the Fantastic Four after they get their powers, up until Doctor Doom reappears, because they chased after him after he went back into Planet Zero.
Yeah. Like, and by the way, Doctor Doom's powers in this one basically are what the plot needs him to do.
Yeah, he got his powers from Planet Zero. What are they? Yeah.
And also, like, he decides, like, oh, if my world, I'm going to destroy your world, I'm going to destroy Earth. Which, by the way, that's completely against Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom doesn't want to destroy the Earth, he wants to rule it.
Well, you can't expect Fox to understand Doctor Doom because they don't really know the character. He's a villain, that's all they want to know.
Doctor Doom is one of the best Marvel. He's probably actually, I think, the best Marvel. Up with Magneto, the best Marvel villain.
Oh, he's one of the best. Like, you can't compete with the guy. He's one of the most sinister, threatening, and evil people in the Marvel Universe. And Fox just throws him away as if he's just another henchman of Dr. Claw from Inspector Gadget.
Which, but also, by the way, that design for Doctor Doom. You remember when that teaser photo, that like leaked photo came out, and people like saying, "No, Doctor Doom can't look like that. That's not Doctor Doom. He looks worse.
He looks worse.
He looks so much worse."
He looks like the iRobot on meth.
I like the one that one reviewer said he looks like the Data's child from that Star Trek Next Generation episode.
Oh, that's even better. And it glows green for some reason. Well, I get the fact that his whatever suit grafted to him because of being there so long, but it still just looks awful.
Yeah. And why is he green? Is it because he put his hand in that energy? That's why he's green?
Yeah.
Like, the reason Doctor Doom wears the mask, it's not because he has it welded to him, it's because his skin was horribly burnt. That's why he wears the metal suit.
Yeah, he's not made of metal, and Fox hasn't figured that out for 3 movies. Okay.
Honestly, the best Doctor Doom is the Roger Corman Doctor Doom. And that movie wasn't even made to be released.
No. It was just made to keep the money. Same reason as this one. Except now we had to waste our time on it.
So, yeah.
Worse effects.
They get to this, which, and also, by the way, the movie was bad, but the last 20 minutes of this movie absolutely kill it.
It's absolutely where the film goes horribly downhill when you know they said, crap, we don't have an ending, write something up now. This must have been what the reshoots were.
Yeah, well, that's things like I said, it's just, reshoots are inevitable. It's like, when they say, I think it was something like, they just said, it's just going to be 2 or 3 days of reshoots. It ended up being 3 months of reshoots. Which basically says, that movie was a mess from the start.
And bear in mind, that was out of the 6 months shooting that they already did. Mm-hmm. So a majority of what they did was just redoing. So I don't care who is at fault for that. That's probably what destroyed the film.
Well, a lot of things destroyed the film, to be honest. And let's say it's the movie was so and so they get to this. So they basically have not really the final battle, the only battle with Doctor Doom.
Yeah. Also, don't forget that when he goes back, it opens up a portal to the other side for some reason.
Yes, because he couldn't have closed that. But anyway, basically, Sue Storm decides to basically do her bubble powers and transport the Thing and Reed Richards across the teleporter, and Johnny Storm just has no problem going through the teleporter.
No, he's made of fire, so he's okay.
Yeah. So they go through it, and they get to Planet Zero.
Was it so hard to just name drop Negative Zone? Really? Is that so hard? It's the Negative Zone.
But yeah, it's so they basically get so they have this, and actually, by the way, they have this just awful fight with Doctor Doom where they start to take him on one by one, and he just kicks their ass, and it's just awful.
Yeah, and
the
also
reason I think
that the Thing also screams Reed for no reason again.
And they also do the whole, and I think I know why they attacked him 1-on-1, because I think it was that fight, because from what I heard, when it came to reshoots with the green screen, basically for that final battle, they couldn't get all the actors in on the same day.
So they weren't even there at the same time,
Yeah.
but they were in the same scene. That's so you can honestly tell why their acting was stiff because they weren't even talking to each other.
They had to get in body doubles and stuff like that for that. But it's sort of stuff like and basically like that whole fight scene is terrible. Like it's basically Doctor Doom just like they all like either fly or charge at him and he just moves his hand and then he beats them.
Yeah. Johnny gets covered with rocks. Thing gets covered with rocks. The Invisible Woman gets hit by rocks, and then Reed, I think, gets like thrown.
With rocks.
Yeah, probably with rocks. I didn't pay attention. And so, yeah, after their fight scene where they each get their asses handed to them.
Doctor Doom doesn't kill them, by the way. Like he's just like no, he doesn't. He kind of tries. No, he kind of tries to kill Sue, but then like Reed gets control of his his stretchiness, which, by the way, I never realized was actually a problem for him in the whole movie. Like they never said oh I can't control my stretchiness or anything like that.
No, that's another thing that they could have said in the year that they skipped.
But yeah, it's like he gets ability to stretch, and then he punches Doctor Doom down off a cliff or something like that.
Yeah, no. I think he distracted, or was that before?
No, the distraction was later.
Yeah. He just punched him and he falls down a ravine.
Yeah, and then so basically then they get this whole so that kind of turns off Doctor Doom's powers or something like that. So everyone gets
for a second, but the portal's still open.
Yeah.
And while it's open, it's also tearing up some highway and some trees and killing some people by bringing them in and then getting them disintegrated. So while this is happening, people are dying by the dozens in a portal.
Like we see people running away.
Yeah, but they're still getting carried into Planet Zero.
It's actually that effect reminds me of that that basically dubstep machine in Man of Steel. You know, the one that went vroom.
Oh yeah, but at least that was meant to kill people.
Yeah.
This one just happened. That at least you got an explanation for why he was killing the people. It did.
He was just trying to destroy the world. Basically, that's why he was there. And so it goes then they have this whole then they have this basically terrible it's we need to work together scene, which was never a fault in the movie again because they were never on screen together, so they never had the problem of being a team because they were never together on the screen.
Yeah, they say the line, "We can't take him on by ourselves." No, well, we can all take him on, or something like that.
Yeah.
You couldn't have said the four of us, Fantastic Four. Yeah. The name of your movie, I think.
So basically, then Doctor Doom gets up and then they basically beat him in one punch.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they kill him or not. We're probably not going to find out.
Don't forget Thing did the clobbering time for some reason.
He becomes and basically. Oh, and by the way, the whole Doctor Doom is introduced and then killed off happens in about 20 minutes.
Yeah. We forgot about our villain. He came back, and then he died.
He has no time to be threatening. He has no time to build up character. He's just there. I want to destroy the world. Oh, wait, now I've been beaten.
Whoops. So then they go back to the portal, and our triumphant moment, we're viewing at a gaping crater in the earth where possibly hundreds of people have died.
Yeah, and there's triumphant music playing. And the people and the Fantastic Four look over the destruction we saved the world.
The day. Hundreds of people are dead, but we stopped the portal.
While they look over a crater which looks like the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs made.
Forget Man of Steel. The Fantastic Four didn't give a crap about the civilians.
But that's the thing. It's but people made the argument. It was just a military base. But yeah, it was a military base next to an open road full of innocent people.
Oh yeah, let's not forget that when they closed the portal, there were still cars coming through. So that means there's still people trapped on Planet Zero.
Well, I think they're just dead, to be honest.
Well, unless they survive the same way Doctor Doom was, and the supposed sequel is going to have 10 of them.
Yeah, the sequel that's so going to happen.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Matt Fox is so committed in saying, they're so going to do it.
Okay, let's rush through the ending because they did.
Oh, yeah, because they did in
rushed
the movie.
it.
It's basically like, and then suddenly they cut to this. They cut to this. The Fantastic Four talking to the military again, saying like, what was it?
What?
They cut to back to the military and they go like, it's like, oh, we want this, this, this. We saved the day, so give us all your shit, basically.
Yeah, and they were like, "What if we say no?" And then Ben growls, and then Johnny delivers the worst line of the movie.
Say yes.
And everybody sighed in the movie theater. I'm not exaggerating.
Was that supposed to be like some badass line to say like, oh, look how much of a badass he is?
That's not even clever. That's just like a 13-year-old like being rebellious.
It's basically them going. It's basically them going. I know you are, but what am I?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But so yeah, they also fly, which again they have this special the terrible special effect of Sue transporting Ben and Reed via the orb thing, the invisible orb. Remember that effect? It was like it just looked like two. It honestly looked like three like photo like stick figures just being transported along with a cylinder around them.
Yeah, with one like orange figure on a stick. So yeah, they get their own building for some reason. I don't even remember what it was
Which
called.
they call Central City.
That's what it's called?
Yes.
Why can't they just be stationed at the Baxter Building like they're supposed to?
But that's the thing, is like Central City is a city, isn't it? In the Marvel universe, it's not a building.
No, well, I know Central City is a city in the DC universe, but I don't know about Marvel for that matter.
No, I think it is.
That's going back way back in the Fantastic Four's history.
There is Central City, like say, like some people call it this and that, but we just call it Central City.
So yeah, they get their own base, which is really generic, doesn't stand out, and really looks no different from the Baxter Building.
No, and also, which by the way, actually, let's get to that. Let's get to that. The only color, apart from the only thing that isn't grey in this movie is the thing. Everything in that movie is grey.
Just bleh.
The walls, like, honestly, like the building that they built, the whole like, and actually that's a good point that someone made. I remember, but it's basically like saying, "Oh, if we're going to be heroes, we need a name. How about?" Then they like set off this like awkward, like just cringy, like basically naming a band moment. And
Human Torch in the chest.
Yeah. Hey, say that again. Fantastic, and then they just cut to the credits.
Yeah,
like, they ripped that off. They ripped that off the Avengers Age of Ultron. They ripped that off Age of Ultron.
I don't even know if they could. I don't remember if this was filmed at the same time this was, and they got that line. It's like, oh, let's do that. Let's cut before we say the line of the movie.
Well, when did Age of Ultron come out? April, wasn't it? Or May?
Yeah, it came out May the 1st.
Yeah, well, it came out in April in the UK and May the 1st. That's plenty of time for them to do that reshoot. And just,
I guess so. Still, wasn't a clever line. That's how they dropped the Fantastic Four name at the very end of the movie.
They never say Fantastic Four. They just say Fantastic, cut to the credits.
Hey, I know what we should call ourselves.
Yeah.
So,
and there's no after credit scene, by the way.
Yeah. This is a Marvel film with no after credit scene.
There's no Stan Lee cameo.
No, Stan Lee, the guy who co-created this, did not want to either did not want a cameo in it or didn't have time to. Either way, it wouldn't have saved this film anyway.
Like I think he's the person who created the Fantastic Four.
He co-created it with Jack Kirby. So even then he had a cameo in Guardians of the Galaxy, which he has no credit in creating, but he was still in it. Mm-hmm. That's because he's basically just Marvel's mascot now. Even he admitted to that. But
yeah.
But he didn't even cameo in Fantastic Four.
But yeah, this movie is like, and also if you think about it, this movie only has basically three like set pieces. There's the building where they build the teleporter. There's Planet Zero, and then there's the military base. That's
the majority of which is in green screen.
That's pretty much it. I mean, there's about 5 minutes in Morocco or whatever it was.
Yeah, in the jungle.
Yeah.
Basically, just the
which
woods
they could have set, which they could have made like some kind of like, I don't know, like mountainous area and called it Latveria.
Well, you saw like a shot of the word Latveria when they were going over Victor Von Doom's like report or whatever. Yeah. So he is actually from Latveria, but he just doesn't have an accent. Sue does for like one scene.
Yeah, and by the way, you can tell scenes are the reshoots because she's wearing a terrible wig.
Oh yeah, her hair is dark blonde 1 minute, and then it's light blonde the other minute, and then the other one looks like she just got out of the shower.
Mm-hmm.
So there you have it. Fantastic Four, possibly the worst film of the year.
Well, it's the worst superhero film of the year.
I say it's probably one of the worst superhero films of the decade.
Yeah.
2010 decade.
Yeah, This was what I was. I was so worried about this as well because basically superhero movies are basically in this. We're in this golden era, and kind of like in the. Was it in the? Yeah, it was in like in the late 80s and 90s. There was this huge superhero movie boom, and that was completely killed by Batman and Robin. They just killed it stone dead.
This movie felt like it was from the early 2000s and 90s. Like, it was just a film that did not care about its source material, didn't care about the audience reaction, and just did it to try and make money and failed horribly, only because it wanted to do something different.
There's a thing that this one reviewer I watched called The Dome. Like he does like reviews of like movie adaptations of books, and says like, but it like compares them to the books to the movie. He doesn't say like if they're better or not or anything like that. He just says what they left out, what they changed, and all that sort of stuff, and what they kept. But he basically says this one thing is like, if you're going to make a movie about a property, tell the story of the book. Don't try and tell your own story.
That's something Fox has always had trouble with, and they're slowly starting to understand, like, okay, if we actually act more like the source material, we could be better respected. And they're getting that with X-Men.
Like Bryan Singer, like the first X-Men movie, he did say like, oh, he didn't want the cast to read the original X-Men comics, which by the way, was it Hugh Jackman actually went against
Hugh Jackman pretty much said, yeah, bring me a bunch of Wolverine comics. I don't give a crap what Bryan Singer says. Mm-hmm. It's Hugh Jackman who's going to argue.
Yeah. But no, it's like at first Bryan Singer said no, but even now he's going, actually, yeah, I probably should do the source material.
Yeah, he's getting better. First Class was okay. Days of Future Past fixed everything, and Apocalypse looks fantastic.
Don't think Bryan Singer did First Class.
Okay, well, you get the idea that
it was the director of Kick-Ass who did First Class.
Well, you understand the fact that they're slowly starting to get better and better. Yeah. Even the Wolverines after Origins got better. Yeah. And Deadpool, just look at Deadpool.
Yeah, exactly.
That's probably the most comic book-esque you can get with a superhero character. And Fantastic Four missed every single note, not just in the superhero aspect, but in
they're not even superheroes. They never do anything superheroic.
No, they do less than the previous franchise did.
Like, we never see them saving the day. Like, I mean, the only reason they stop Doctor Doom is because they're there.
Yeah, they're hardly ever on screen together except for that last scene. We don't get to see them play off each other, and then we're just supposed to assume that they're a team now because they beat up one bad guy.
Yeah. I mean, and also, like, how are they supposed to be superheroes? Like, they're in this, like, that wasn't that building, the Central City building where they end up at the end of the movie? Like, that was in the middle of nowhere. So how are they going to be superheroes? Like, if they're in the Baxter building, that's in the middle of a city. That means they can save the day because they're in the city.
I guess somebody's supposed to call them, even though nobody knows about them. Everything. You missed every single note of this movie. You missed the characters. You missed storytelling. The effects were terrible. It really feels like you just rushed this film out.
And also, like the director, what's his name? Let's get to the director.
Josh Trank.
Josh Trank.
Chronicle.
Josh Trank. It's clear he wasn't interested in making a Fantastic Four movie.
No, he wanted to make a second Chronicle with the Fantastic Four characters.
That's what he wanted. It's like, and it's clear, like he's saying, like, oh, and that's honestly, and that tweet that he made saying, like, oh, Fox basically, like he said, a year ago I had a vision for a great Fantastic Four movie, and Fox ruined it. I'm sorry, but from what we saw a year ago, from when we first heard about Fantastic Four, this movie was dead from the start.
If you are honestly at the point where your movie is so bad that you have to start pointing fingers at each other, you know you messed up and you should just own up to it. I don't care if Fox did it, Josh Trank did it, the writers did it, or even the actors who actually said they enjoyed this film and then said the movie was probably not going to be that good a week before it premiered. You all messed up.
No, it was no, it was. Remember, yeah, it was like stuff have you read all the stuff have you read about the stuff that's gone behind the scenes with this? It's honestly, it's amazing. All the stuff that. Okay, first of all, when Josh Trank was basically Josh Trank, apparently him with Miles Teller, which by the way, I don't like Miles Teller. He comes off as a prick.
He is.
Yeah, he comes off as but basically, like, apparently him and Miles Teller were basically either drunk or high most of the days that they were on set.
Communication backstage was terrible, not just on set, but even off set. Whenever the actors would try to communicate with any of the staff, it almost seemed like nothing was happening.
Like, and also, like, Josh Trank railed to get Michael B. Jordan in the movie. Like, he said, like, he basically, like, he said, like, I want Michael B. Jordan to be Johnny Storm, and then Miles Teller was also his choice. But the woman who played Sue Storm, that was the studio said, okay, she's probably going to be the best to play Sue Storm. He didn't, and apparently he basically like abused her on set, like basically like verbally abusing her all night. All the time she was on set, which also apparently caused at some points brought her down to tears.
Wow, that's fantastic to know that. Oh,
that was Josh Trank, by the way.
Yeah, Josh Trank. It wasn't his fault that the film was terrible.
No,
it was Fox, the guy who yelled at people, came on set drunk, and changed so much of the franchise from its original source material that it was completely unrecognizable. It wasn't his fault.
No, it's not. Like, it's stuff like have you? I watched one of the interviews for the Fantastic Four before, like all the interviews, like they had all four of the cast, like all four of the cast on there, and they said, like, they gave them the question: would you rather deal with 100, so was it 20 angry PR people or one angry director? And they all pretty much in unison said 20 angry PR people. It's like, wow.
Let that tell you something.
Josh Trank also didn't do interviews for the movie, when people do, like they always have the director go out and do, like, interviews and stuff for the movie when it's about to come out. He hasn't done any of that.
Probably because he's not really happy how this film turned out. Now everybody's looking to him for it, and he's pointing fingers at Fox.
But also, here's the thing: is apparently, actually, like sometimes he just didn't turn up on set, so the movie was ghost directed by the writer of the movie.
That's probably why most of the scenes were pretty badly written.
It's like, and also stuff like, I'm honestly, this is honestly true. There's I'll actually I should have linked you to the video before this about the person, about the whole backstage stuff, but I'll send you after this. But Josh Trank, he stayed at this. It's sort of like one of those places where people like rent out their house to people if they want to stay instead of a hotel.
Oh yeah, I think I read about this somewhere that apparently he trashed it.
Yeah, and then Fox went, "Oh no, it was just his dogs, and it was just a little bit of a mess." But no, it actually turned out but behind the scenes, like it actually turned out that it was Josh Trank and the president of Fox himself. I think it was the head of Fox's like movie and television division had to go out to the person who owned the house themselves and apologize.
Wow.
Josh Trank, you can blame the studio. I'm sure the studio has some fault with this, but you are not completely without blame with this one.
Just all in all, a terrible film. I don't care who behind the set. Yeah, just everyone behind the set had its own issues with the film.
I mean, you, Josh Trank, you're the person who was supposed to be directing one of the Star Wars anthology movies, but you say that you left on your own accord, but reports actually do say that Disney fired you. Like,
I didn't think Chronicle was that bad.
Chronicle was good, but apparently it's clearly the case if he was an indie director who's not ready for the limelight and really didn't know what to do with a large budget and a huge studio on his back.
Anything else I'm forgetting? And
Uh,
slipped my mind for a second. Something else about the film.
uh, uh, there's nothing like nothing about this movie stands out at all. Like there's no like there's no jokes, there's no
It's
joy. There's no color at all.
cheesy lines, just horrible banter.
Oh, I
It
also
doesn't make you
remember.
feel like it doesn't make you feel like they're real people. It just makes you feel like they're just stand-in bland superheroes that you see on like just out of nowhere box art.
And I can see like I just remember is like the amount of scenes that were not in the movie that were in the trailers.
Yeah, the thing dropping from the plane doesn't happen.
The whole
Never.
that's a scene where Reed Richards is talking to Doctor Doom when he's strapped to the that was in the first trailer where Reed's talking to Doctor Doom on the when he's strapped to the table, not in the movie. There's literally I think there's a whole list of things that aren't in the movie, like the thing battling that tank that is in the movie, but it's over a PC monitor. This whole scene, like, which looks like the thing was basically this whole basic action sequence looks with the thing dropping down from the sky and taking out this base, looked like it was just entirely cut from the movie. But they kept it in the trailer.
Yep. Just advertise what's not in the movie, and Howard the Duck honestly looked better than this.
Uh,
The George Lucas Howard the Duck film was more entertaining than this. It could at least tell a coherent story.
I mean, oh god, I mean, I can honestly see why Disney wasn't the reason why one of the reasons why Marvel cancelled the Fantastic Four comic because they were so unhappy with what was going on.
Oh yeah, they were pissed about that. The Fantastic Four are pretty much done for now at Marvel, and all the characters have been split off into other sections. Thing is with Guardians of the Galaxy, and Johnny Storm is with the Inhumans. I
I thought
can't
he was
remember
with Spider-Man.
what.
I thought he was with Spider-Man. I thought there was a comic because you know Marvel are doing this relaunch.
Yeah,
I thought there was a comic about there's going to be a comic about Johnny Storm and Spider-Man.
I didn't hear anything about that. I know
I could be
I
wrong.
know,
I could
I
be
know
wrong.
Miles is going to be with another Avengers team, but I haven't heard anything about Peter.
And Reed Richards. I think Reed Richards. I don't know what they're doing with him.
I need to relook up into it, but I know what they're doing with Thing and Johnny.
Yeah.
But for as bad as this film is, and as predictably bad as it was, everyone thought this was going to be the film that pretty much guaranteed the movie rights back to Marvel. No. Fox has pretty much stated, we don't want to give up these characters. We still think we have potential with them. We just don't know yet. So for the time being, Fox is not giving the franchise back, despite the fact that they've bombed it several times.
I mean, this is one of the worst performing superhero movies of all time.
It's rated lower than Adam Sandler's Pixels.
It's
Adam
ra-
Sandler.
It's rated lower. Actually, no, sorry. I think it's just 1% higher than Catwoman.
I think from the time from the time that movie came out, it was lower than Catwoman, and that movie was as far away from Catwoman as you can get.
And it's actually a lower percentage. Like it's a lower percentage than than both Ghost Rider movies and the Elektra movie.
Uh, Fox, stop! You're not getting it. You don't understand these characters, and for all we know, you never will. Just give it back. You're not going to figure out how to do it right because you keep wanting to try new things, and that's not a bad thing. But you just can't figure it out.
But keep just keep what the characters are. Like just you can do like different things, yes, but keep what the characters are. I mean, that's one of the reasons why everyone hated that 1998 Godzilla movie because they changed so much about Godzilla. Like it wasn't Godzilla. It's the same reason with like Doctor Doom. They changed so much about him that it's just not Doctor Doom.
The whole reason Marvel is doing great is because, they're actually keeping as close to the source material as they can get. They're not, well, for the most part. The whole franchise of itself is still keeping fairly close.
Yeah.
You guys think that if you ignore it,
it'll be its own thing.
If we be edgy and, do a dark and gritty take on it, which is, okay, fine, do a dark and gritty take on it, but keep what the characters are.
Yeah. Did they think that the Hunger Games would have done better with Drake Bell and Josh Peck as the leading roles in Manhattan? No. You try to be as close to the source material when making a movie adaptation.
And
you
you
can make
wouldn't-
changes, but keep the soul.
And you're the same company that's making the Deadpool movie, which looks like Deadpool.
It looks like you actually figured out, holy crap, if we keep it as close as possible, it'll look good. I don't care who was responsible for it. Everybody messed up. Josh,
Yeah.
Fox, actors, you all messed up. Go into the
Writers,
corner and think
everything.
about what you did.
Special effects, everything.
Yeah, especially you guys. You've made Blue Sky look like they're on the cutting edge of CGI. The guys who made the Ice Age movies.
Yeah, and robots.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things like, fine, you don't. I know Fox and Disney, you guys hate each other, and you don't want to get and it's one of that things like, if you give Fantastic Four back to Marvel, and they make a great movie out of it, then the person who did that is basically going to be fired. But here's the thing: why don't you do what Sony did? Because Sony's technically still own the rights to Spider-Man.
Yeah, but now that they've worked out a deal to where they can share the characters and possibly make a better, closer Spider-Man, we hate Sony a little less.
Yeah, I mean they did. This is the second Universal had the Incredible Hulk. Marvel asked, "Can we have the Incredible Hulk back? We'll do like this joint deal with you." They did it. It worked out. We got the Incredible Hulk in the Avengers. Now we're getting Spider-Man in the Avengers. It's one of those things like, we don't necessarily need the Fantastic Four in an Avengers movie, but how good would have Doctor Doom been in an Avengers movie?
Galactus, the Watcher, Silver Surfer, all these great characters that Fox is hoarding. The fact that they just don't understand how to use them.
And why is it so hard to get Doctor Doom right? He's a ruler of his own country. He's a dictator. He has the power of technology and magic on his side. He's a genius. How is it so hard?
World War III thing, but you can't think that far. You have to think something that's even worse than the.
He makes a skirt. He wears a skirt and makes it look threatening.
That's one way to look at it, yeah. All in all, I don't even know if I can give this movie a proper rating without going any lower.
But it's literally
whatever's on Rotten Tomatoes, there you go.
It's literally that thing is like, just going about Doctor Doom, like he's one of the villains that has accomplished the most as well. Like most villains, like their plans is like to destroy the world or something like that, and usually they fail. Doctor Doom he's accomplished the most out of pretty much any superhero villain. Like even most villains in the DC universe haven't done what he's done.
No, he's not an easily defeatable villain as most people think. He's pretty much a dictator. You can't take that down as easily just by punching him. No, he's been around and still is around. He's pretty much the god of his own dimension now in Secret Wars, if anybody's still reading that.
Yeah.
They
By the
can't
way,
get
on
it.
a side note, Doctor Doom becomes a god, and then in the DC comics they make Batman a god.
Oh yeah, they did. Well, their definitions of gods are a bit different as far as story goes.
Yeah. He's like, oh, if only. Oh god, I'm not going to get into that now. That's
I read both stories, so.
Yeah.
But all in all, everything we have said in this film, it's terrible. It really is a terrible film. And not just being away from the source material, storytelling itself, everything down right down to movie making, you just got wrong.
Which here's the thing is like, a movie about teleporting to different universes. It's an interesting idea. I would like to see a movie about that.
Nope.
Why the hell was the Fantastic Four put into this? It's not. I know it's from the comics because it's the Ultimate line that they were taken from, which by the way sucks.
But even then, still better than this. It's still better than this half-assed story.
Why did they think like like, oh, I'm going, like, people won't take that seriously. It's like, we're at a point now where we're at a point now where you can have a raccoon that shoots, people can take a raccoon that shoots guns in space.
A shooting gun raccoon, a talking tree, and a guy that flies on metal wings. I think we're past the point of taking things seriously and understanding this is a fictional reality.
Our suspension of disbelief can go a bit further than that.
We have a superhero that gets angry and turns into the Jolly Green Giant. Just less jolly. I think we'll be okay with a thing that is made of rock and a guy that stretches.
Like, go up into space and a man who's a ruler of his own fictional country.
We can get past that. Have you not seen the X-Men movies?
It's kind of like that same thing with the Silver Surfer movie. Remember that one where they made Galactus a cloud? It's like, I bet that was like a committed decision. Like, oh, people won't take that seriously if he's just a big dude.
Yeah, we took him less seriously as a cloud. It looked like he was a dust bunny floating through space. How are we supposed to get scared about a cloud eating a planet? It looked like it would just pass right through it.
And I think I don't know if you agree with me, but honestly, the Doctor Doom from those two Fantastic Four movies was a better Doctor Doom.
Oh, better than this one for sure.
It wasn't a good Doctor Doom, but it was a better Doctor Doom.
At least. Oh, he barely had any motivation himself, as far as I remember.
No, he was just evil.
I don't know.
But to be honest, Doctor Doom's motivation should always just be power. He just wants power. He wants more power. He's got his own country, but that's not enough. He wants more.
No, in this one, he opens up a portal and then tries to destroy the world for no reason whatsoever.
Spite. Out of spite.
Out of spite. Why? Because they took him out of his dimension for 5 minutes. Then he goes back, and then he wants to destroy the world. It just... You skipped over all of this development.
Like, I would honestly... Doctor Doom destroying, like, a city or something out of that, out of spite, or because it annoys him, is something I could see him doing. But just because, like, oh, this planet's mine, and I'm gonna... I keep on saying, Doctor Doom doesn't want to destroy the Earth. He wants to rule it. He wants to rule the universe. Like, wasn't that Marvel Ultimate Alliance game? He basically took the power of Odin and became a god. Because he wanted to.
I think we should just go ahead and wrap up because we pretty much just buried this film now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no.
I can't really call this video a review, can we? We can just call it an hour and a half of anger.
Well, we reviewed it. We ranted over it. You can call it a review rant for whatever reason. Either way, if you're still listening past this point and you haven't seen the film, don't go see it.
I think I already knew that by now.
Just don't go see this movie. Even if you're interested in seeing a bad film, this wasn't even entertainingly bad.
No, this was just boring. It was an hour. It was 100 minutes of nothing.
No, it just absolute boredom. Okay, I think we're good.
Yeah, and so just don't see that.
We'll
see you guys next time. I don't know what movie we'll probably review next. I'll have to
I think Star Wars is next. So we'll see you in December.
I would like to do Spectre as well, if anyone would be interested in that.
I have to see if I'm seeing it. I don't know.
What else is coming out there's got to be something coming out in September.
I forget.
Peanuts movie? I'm just joking.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. Probably won't review it, but I'll watch it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's either going to be Spectre or Star Wars. Christ. We've nearly been ranting about this movie for the actual length of this movie, for the actual movie itself.
Yeah, this is as long as the film was. So we pretty much just spoke the entire amount of this film. You don't have to see it because we just told you the story.
It's 100 minutes plus credits, and I think the credits are 10 minutes long, so it's an hour and a half long. So yeah, if we continue talking for 9 more minutes, then we literally are the length of the movie.
Yeah, we waited through the credits for no reason. Okay.
By the way, Fox, before the movie came out, you announced the sequel. You really think that's still going to happen? You really honestly are going to be like, oh yeah, Fantastic Four 2 is going to come out? Like, this movie isn't making any money at all. It's bombing like mad. You're going to lose so much money on it, and you're going to want to spend even more money on a sequel that's probably going to bomb just as bad?
I think reports are saying they're planning on changing it to a Deadpool sequel. I think right after Fantastic Four came out and all the bad reports came, they said, "Oh, okay, well maybe we should just change that movie to Deadpool because Deadpool looks like it's going to do better."
Yeah. Deadpool literally is like, that's Ryan Reynolds. He's basically admitted himself, like, all the crap that he's done, this is basically his last chance.
And it looks like it's going to be a good chance.
Yeah. And he's giving it his all. I wish someone in this movie could have given their all.
They gave no less. Well, I guess that wraps it up. Don't see Fantastic Four unless you want to get mad.
You can honestly tell, like, some of the looks in the actors when they're delivering their lines. It's literally just a case of like, just think of the paycheck. Just think of the paycheck. Just honestly, just finish this line. The food cart's going to be here in about half an hour. You're going to have some. You can eat something from there. Just honestly, just think of the page. It's oh god. They're going to have to pay them a shit ton to get them back for the sequel.
Oh no, I'm pretty sure there's not going to be any sequel.
Yeah.
No one's going to buy this film, not even on Redbox. I wanted to do that, and I kind of wish I did.
This movie, like I say, it's like, oh, it can make up money in the DVD sales. How badly this movie is so toxic, it's not even going to make much money in DVD sales. Christ. Yeah, but yeah, I'm Alex the Hunted. I was joined by Austin. Thanks a lot for doing this, and we'll see you guys next time for whatever it is. And god damn this movie.
Bye.